Welcome back. As I stated in the last video, we're going to go ahead and get started in this one on bringing in our blueprints. We're going to import that in. We're going to set up our scene and get started here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my customize menu up here, and I'm going to go to unit setup. Okay, now a default installation of 3ds Max has the system units set up to generic units. Okay, that's not what we want to use. Now we have several different unit setups here available to us in 3ds Max. We can use a metric measurement system, and then we can set our measurements or units in meters, millimeters, centimeters, or even kilometers. Okay, we're going to be working with the US standard here, and we're going to be working with feet, not with fractional inches. I don't like fractional inches. We're going to use feet with decimal inches. Okay. So it's going to be pretty precise. Now our default units we're going to leave at feet, not inches. You can also go ahead, if you wanted to, for any other projects you have, you can set up a custom unit set here. So if you want to create your own custom setup, you could go ahead and do that. We're going to stick with the US standard, feet with decimal inches, and keep the default units at feet. I'll go ahead and hit OK. Alright. Let's go ahead and start to import all of our blueprints that we're going to need. So I'll go ahead and maximize the viewport here. And I'm going to go up here to the 3ds Max button up here in the top left. So I'll just come in here and I'll go to import. And we want to go ahead and import a file. And when we do this, the neat thing about setting up a project folder is that 3ds Max is going to automatically look in the import folder of our project directory, which is extremely helpful. Inside that input folder, I've placed several DWG files, which are drawing files that can come in from a program like AutoCAD. Okay, and we have several of these, and these different files are going to help us create basically the overall environment structure of our house. So we'll start off importing the ceiling first. I'll import that, and the first thing that will pop up is an AutoCAD import options window. I'm going to leave all the options at default. You can see we have ourselves quite a number of options here, but I'm not going to go ahead and tinker with any of them. I'm going to leave them at the default because the default settings are good enough. I'll just hit OK, and what it ends up bringing in is these editable spline files. If I select these and I go to the Modify tab over here, I can see that they're editable splines. But we're not going to go ahead and manipulate these in any way. We're not going to move them. We're not going to edit any of their points, any of the vertices or lines or anything like that. Okay, I'm going to make sure to hit F3 and go to wireframe mode. Alright, now what I want to do is I want to rename my blueprints here. Very important. Now I imported this one. This one was called ceiling. You'll notice that the default name is layer 0, which is obviously not very good. So I'm going to go ahead and rename that to ceiling, which makes a lot more sense to me. And it's very important to keep things nice and organized. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep importing my files. Next I'll import the first floor blueprint. Hit OK, leave all the default options. I'll select the first floor and I'll rename it to first floor because of course that makes sense. So just go ahead and start importing all these files and just selecting the files you just import and renaming them. Very important. Organizational is extremely important when working on large projects. I recommend it for any project, big or small. Organization can save you a ton of time. So I'll just keep importing these guys in here. Second floor is next. So I'll call that second floor. Import the next one, stairs. Now the stairs is this one right here. It doesn't look like much, but this is going to work as a good placeholder. It's going to help us out a lot later on when we create the stairs, and you'll see that. I'll call that stairs floor. Okay, next one will be the stairs. You can see the stairs here. Basically it's just to show us where the stairs are going to go. And then let's import finally the windows. This is going to work well to show us where our windows are going to go. Okay, so I think I've got everything imported here. For whatever reason, if I miss something, I can always go back and import it, so it's not a problem. Now, all of these things came in, at least for me, by default, a green wireframe color, which I really don't like because everything kind of looks the same. So to kind of differentiate between these different things and make it easier for my eyes to quickly scan the scene and tell what is what, I'm going to go ahead and change some of the scene colors here from some of these objects. So let's take the floor, for example, and let's go up here to the Modify tab, click on the little color swatch right there, and just change the colors of this to whatever you want. It really doesn't matter what color all this stuff is, as long as they're different colors and they're easy to quickly scan and spot with your eyes. It's going to make your life a lot easier. Try to pick some colors that look different from each other. And I'll just do this very quickly. And let's maybe take the ceiling here. I'm going to change that color to, I don't know, I'll just pick a random color here. Okay, I'll leave the second floor here, the default green that it picked. Okay, so everything is different colors and everything is good to go. Alright, so I changed my scene units. I imported my blueprints. Make sure you don't move the blueprints anywhere. You want to leave them exactly where they are because they already have the exact measurements and dimensions of the final house, what it's going to finally be. Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to end this video here. We're done with that, setting this up, which was easy enough, but that's probably going to be the easiest part of this tutorial. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and actually get started doing polygon modeling and get started blocking this stuff out and roll up our sleeves and get our hands dirty with this. So I'll see you in the next video.